If you want insane deals on legit PC keys from great developers, use my fanatical link down below and start saving yourself some money. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Bigfry, and today I'm going to talk to you guys about Ghost Recon Breakpoint. We had a whole bunch of information drop on the game, including release dates, gameplay details, pre-order details. We're gonna get into it here. If you guys enjoy the video, share it on social media, leave a like down below. Ghost Recon has been a double-edged sword for me. I loved the old games. I grew up watching my father play them on PC. I played them myself. I love Ghost Recon up until about 2013 when Future Soldier started dying off and we didn't really have anything on the horizon. Wildlands comes out and it's essentially Far Cry mixed with Metal Gear. Wildlands was such a far cry, pun intended, away from what I enjoyed about Ghost Recon, which was that tight-knit squad based in realism, not really jumping out of fucking helicopters and jumping over explosions while riding a motorbike and shooting. Like, it was so far gone. And what I will say right off the bat as a pro to what Breakpoint is, if you guys haven't seen the reveal, essentially, you are a team of ghosts who get stranded behind enemy lines. Your helicopter crashes in the middle of this island called Aurora, which is apparently the central hub for this company called Skeltech and Jay Skell, who basically, like I said in my other videos earlier this week, is like the runner of all of the tech alongside the Tom Clancy IPs. So like the active camo from Future Soldier, the shock drone from Rainbow Six, it's all created and all kind of spread out along this map of Aurora, and that's where you pretty much get locked behind enemy lines. Now, I will say the initial premise when I heard it, I was like, okay, so this is nothing like fucking a Ghost Recon game that's like squad based and like doing missions around the world and actual spec op shit. But the more they showed the game, I will say it definitely looks a lot more tactical than Ghost Recon Wildlands, where you really have to like plan your attacks and move slowly through some of the areas, take out enemies silently. They talked about like stealth and being able to like pick up dead bodies and pick up your down teammates and take them to a safer spot. And I'm like, okay, this is pretty cool. They showed off the fact that you can prone in the dirt, and it's like a prone camouflage. Your guy like rubs dirt all over his face and like hides in the mud, and then like enemies are walking by and he's getting like radioed and they're like, you gotta go to your left. It reminded me of that mission from Call of Duty 4 when you're like crawling through as the sniper and the tanks are going over you. It reminded me of that old school tactical game. And I was like, okay, I'm feeling good. This is what we need. And then he ran down the hill and there was a dune buggy sitting there with two of his teammates, and I got pulled right back out of it. I was like, oh, here we go. Fucking dune buggies jumping over shit. I will say they kept it pretty grounded. It is a co-op campaign. You can play with 3 other people, 4 players total, and it does feel a lot more Ghost Recon-like, which I gotta give them props on. I thought initially when I heard the first premise of it, I was like, this is gonna fucking suck. They showed off the game, and it does look better than Wildlands in almost every way imaginable, which, I mean, is not really a hard bar to hit, but they fucking hit it. And for me, this whole learning process about what Breakpoint actually is has been a roller coaster. There's a lot of cool things in the game. The fact that it does look as tactical as it does is the main selling point for me. And the fact is I'm probably going to buy it just to see how they handle it, because it does look good. But there's a lot of things that I'm not really fucking with right now. As an old school Ghost Recon player, they should not be doing tiered loot. And if you guys don't know what that is, it's essentially basically reports from people who were lucky enough, I'm reading this off of GamePure.com. Reports from people who were lucky enough to get some time in the game indicate a tiered loot system. Enemies drop loot and chests containing weapons and gear, and they're going to be hidden around the map. At the moment, it would seem that some kind of tiered loot system is in the game. So basically what that means is there's like uncommon, common, rare, ultra rare, basically Division 2 looting in a Ghost Recon game. This shit isn't a looter shooter, it's a tactical shooter. Why are we implementing tiered loot? The fact that there's a class system in the game that you can switch out between missions, why? Why don't you just let 4 players just go in and pick their loadouts? Unless they're not gonna limit your weapon loadout or anything like that. But why? And also, when you're talking about like between missions, if there's between mission areas and they kind of show it off where like you set up a tent and they make it sound like you're a spec ops and you're doing what real spec ops soldiers do. Really, it's just a point between missions. Like, is the open world in this area really necessary if you go do a mission, go back to your tent, change your class, and then go do the next mission? What's the point of being open world? That was one of my biggest complaints with Wildlands. There was no point. You just grabbed a chopper and flew from mission to mission. All day. That's all it was. The open world was completely irrelevant. And I actually kind of got that feeling from watching the reveal stream. But one thing they did show off that I really enjoyed was the idea of injuries. So if you take a fucking shot to the leg, you might not be able to walk right. Or if you get shot in the arm, you might not be able to hold your rifle in the right hand. So you gotta like hip fire it as you run. I think that's a really good idea. I feel like that is something that should have been in Ghost Recon games fucking forever ago. And I have to say, I love the writing of this article because it shows the exact problem with Ghost Recon as a whole. I'm gonna go into it here. They're talking about the raids in the game, so let me read this out to you. Sometime after launch, the game will get at least one raid. This is very exciting news, and is further evidence that Breakpoint will be trying to give an experience more in line with the Division series than with Wildlands. Why not give an experience in line with Ghost Recon? So that we don't have to make these comparisons. This game is Far Cry mixed with Division. Why is there raids in a Ghost Recon game? Why is there tiered loot? Why are there classes? What is going on? I'm reading this article here. This is from Windows Central. God, who uses this site? The loot drops are quite similar to the Division 2, but the developers didn't want to make the comparison. I wonder fucking why. It seems that they want Ghost Recon Breakpoint to be judged on its own merit. Okay, so why not make a Ghost Recon game? Instead of combining this is what Ubisoft does. They combine all of the shit. Like, think about last year at E3. I saw and I covered a game called Skull and Bones. And it was like a pirate ship game where it was like PvP combat, super awesome. All of a sudden we hear that the next Assassin's Creed is gonna be Vikings. So they're just gonna take those systems from Skull and Bones and implement it and tweak it a little bit, and they're gonna pull systems from here, system from here. This game is Far Cry mixed with Division, mixed with Wildlands. That's what it is. There is a tinge of Ghost Recon tactical nostalgia when you see the characters running through the forest, really slow with the weapons drawn and stuff, and there is a lot of tactical elements. Slower paced, methodical gameplay is something that is here, and that's why I'm really excited to play it. But at the same time, I feel like I already can see the writing on the wall. And it's funny because during the Q&A, there is literally writing on the back of the wall. You are ghosts lost behind enemy lines. I feel like Ghost Recon is lost behind out-of-touch creators. They made it a huge point in this live stream to talk about the community feedback and how the community is what drove them to create this game. Who out here in the Ghost Recon community is asking for something like this? Granted, there are a lot of positives that I take away from some of the gameplay elements, the core gameplay. But everything surrounding this game is starting to feel like they're just pulling from other games to create this. And I remember I dropped a video earlier this week where I said I don't think this announcement is going to be a new Ghost Recon game because it just seems like it's too quick. It's been just over 2 years since we had Wildlands, and now we have this, looking very similar in terms of character design and some of the movement and the animations to Wildlands. I wasn't expecting this to be Ghost Recon until, of course, a couple days ago they announced that it was a Ghost Recon, and it blew my mind. I feel like, and especially now, I'm seeing this game looks early. It's alpha gameplay. I don't know when this build was put together, but some of the animations on the characters, the ragdoll stuff, it didn't look that good. And I know people are gonna tell me it's alpha. I understand it's alpha as well, but the game's launching in 5 months. I get a weird feeling about it. Again, the fact that when you look at the pre-order incentives to play the game, it's the same bullshit. You have 4 different editions of the pre-order. They have a statue for $250. That's Canadian. Base edition. Your gold edition gets you the year 1 pass. You get the ultimate edition, which gets you the off-road pack, bonus mission, survivor pack. You get the collector, the Wolves Collector's Edition. which gets you the figurine, the walker dog tag, the soundtrack, and the steel book. Like, it's the same shit. But you know what? Wildlands sold, what, millions of copies. It was one of the best-selling games of the year. So what the fuck do I know? I know that as a core OG Ghost Recon fan, there is going to be some things in this game that I really enjoy, but I hope that the systems surrounding that core gameplay don't bog down that Ghost Recon identity. And until I get my hands on it, for some reason, Bigfry wasn't invited to play Ghost Recon Breakpoint. One of my biggest complaints about Wildlands was the fact that we got PvP 7 months later. One of the good things about this game is the fact that they're launching it at launch, like most games, like almost 99% of them. So I'm pretty happy about that. The fact that we don't have any PvP details, but I'm glad that PvP is coming at launch. I'm guessing it's gonna be them, what is it, the wolves or the hunters versus the ghosts in like a 4v4 multiplayer gameplay. I'm going to make a different video on the PvP side of things, which will probably come out in the next couple of days. If you guys don't know, I am a huge Ghost Recon fan. I shit on Wildlands for a lot of different reasons, and I gave it props where props was due in others. I don't think that game was a good Ghost Recon, but I think the game was an okay Michael Bay action shooter. But that's not Ghost Recon. And I really hope that this game can start to bring it back, because at the beginning of that live stream, they went through a timeline of events from Ghost Recon 1, 2001, tactical multiplayer gameplay, and they went through Ghost Recon 2, Advanced Warfighter, and Advanced Warfighter 2, Future Soldier. And while they were doing it, man, I was sitting there like, they know what makes a good Ghost Recon. This is a good way to start a live stream. And then Far Cry stuck its dick in Division, I guess. The multiplayer also has shared progression. So basically, the way I'm reading it here, progress is shared across all modes. So if you only want to focus on competitive aspects, you can still earn loot. So I'm really curious to see what they're going to be doing for the PvP. I have ideas, but I feel like my ideas are kind of stripped down core multiplayer gameplay designs. And I feel like this is going to be some fucking weird shit where you're competing for like blue sniper rifles and purples. I don't fucking get it. This is Ghost Recon. One shot to the dome and you're dead. A purple, green, gray, blue, orange, it doesn't matter. And another thing I didn't even talk about was the visual fidelity of the game. The game is beautiful. A lot of people were saying there's going to be a downgrade. I kind of agree with them. I don't think the game is going to look as good as this. I also think that in some areas, when it's lit up and there's rain and you can see some of the reflections, I think some areas look like shit. But that's alpha. But I also think some areas look really good. But that's alpha, I guess. I don't know. When it's dark and the contrast is there and you're under the trees and the mud and shit, I think it looks really good. But I feel like there's still going to be some downgrades in a lot of areas. The game is now being described as a covert operation simulator. And while I can get behind it, I just want to see how well they execute on that. And that's kind of where I'm at. If you guys have any comments, questions, concerns, just general ideas about Breakpoint, leave a comment down below. I'm curious. I'll be reading all of them. And I want to know what you guys thought of the live stream reveal. The game is coming October 4th, I guess. I wasn't paid for this video. I wasn't sponsored by Ubisoft to make the video. I got home from work today and I'm like, I want to talk about this shit because I got a mixed bag of feelings right now. That's where I'm at. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you like it. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, give me a break. Just fucking do it. Appreciate it. Thank you guys for watching. My name is Bigfry, always trying to bring tactical shooter content to the forefront. And I'm really hoping Ghost Recon does the same. See you guys on the next one.